Hello coaches and welcome back to another Modern Soccer Coach breakdown. It wasn't long ago that the inverted fullback was the evolution of the fullback position and possession-based football. But times move very, very quick in this game, and it seems that there is now an evolution of the evolution. What's next for the inverted fullback? What spaces are they looking to occupy? What areas are they looking to impact? Here are 3 ideas on how the position has developed, how it's evolved, and where it might go next. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of breakdowns, please make sure you like, please make sure you subscribe, and please check out all the free information on modernsoccercoach.com. Okay, inverted fullbacks, let's go. So the first one we're going to look at is the most common one. So the examples we're going to use is a 4-3-3 system against a 4-4-2/4-2-4 block, where the back four in blue can't really get out and progress the ball. So the objective of the fullback inverting, the number 2 coming in now, is to offset the press. Then you can move the 7 down, which engages the wide player in red. So you have that overload centrally. Again, it's just unbalances, creates a window of opportunity. It can allow central progression, and then can open up some spaces where you can put the numbers up front rather than underneath and support for the ball. So that's the first one. Let's look at 2 alternatives for this. So now we'll look at against the press and how you can invert the number 2 right back in blue to offset the press. So now again 4-4-2/4-2-4 in red. So it's going to be more of a man-to-man press. So how can you use an inverted situation here? Well, if the 2 goes lower, closer to the centre-back, the centre-back moves into the midfield. The 2 becomes the new centre-back. The 7 becomes the right-back. So again, unbalances the opposition press. And again, gives you a window of opportunity where if the movement is timed right higher up the pitch, you then have a potential overload or an ability for the centre-back to carry the ball, which again allows you to progress the ball into a good area. And the 7 then, who was the full-back, has then continued their run and broken into the final third. So in that one, interchange between centre back and right back, but the full back inverts lower in the build rather than in the first one. They were in the midfield area. So in the third one, we're going to look at higher spaces, how inverting the full back into those central inside spaces can cause a lot of problems for the opposition. But it's not just about identifying the spaces that you're trying to get the fullback into. It's about how you're going to get that fullback in there. Because again, the opposition are quite compact. But if the 6 drops deeper underneath the 4-4-2 block at this stage, it allows the centre backs to drop wider. And then that creates the unbalance in the opposition press for the fullback to take that inverted space in the attacking area of the pitch. So now you've got more of an overload in that wide area. Again, you've offset the opposition block at this stage, and with some combinations using the wide attacker, central midfielder, then you can get that fullback inverted in an attacking area of the pitch on the edge of the box here for a cross. What this also does, it gives you good structure underneath if you lose possession. So sometimes you think that, well, we can't invert higher up the pitch because the structure will go for transitions. But as you can see here, you still get those numbers centrally. By dropping the 6 in as well, you can manage any potential counter-attacks if it doesn't work. So there we go, coaches. Just some ideas about where the position may go in the future. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that the position is expanding in terms of whereabouts on the pitch they're going. Again, it started 5 years ago, right in the middle of the pitch. Now they're coming lower and central. Now they're going higher in central. So I think with data becoming a real force in recruitment and in driving scouting reports, again, it doesn't take rocket science to work out that it's more beneficial to get attacking players central. But I think what's really interesting is how fullbacks get there. But what type of interactions, what type of exchanges, what type of rotations are happening to get your fullbacks there. I think that's the most interesting piece, because they're not just floating there. I was at a game over the weekend, a Serie A game in Italy, and watched a number of positions that the fullback took and arrived at for Bologna and for Como, but there was always opposite movement coming from a different player in that space at the right time. And with the pace and speed of the game being played, that is where the key is. We've got to be really, really careful about how we coach this and how we communicate this, because again, it's very, very easy on a tactical pad animation, but when you're in the game, they can only occupy those spaces for about 3 seconds before the opposition react and solve it. So getting there, arriving there at the right time, again with the right space and the right movement, is so, so important. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you want another one where we go into a little bit more detail and depth about the rotations, about the movements, please give it a like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.